Situated an hour's drive from Johannesburg in South Africa lies Sterkfontein Cave. The cave is famous for its underground lake, whose walls look like Swiss cheese. In 1984, cave diver Peter Verhulst, along with two of his friends, decided they wanted to explore these passageways in the lake, and specifically they wanted to check out a chamber called Milner Hall. There was a guideline that was anchored from the surface of the lake all the way down into the different sections that had been explored, and this was so cave divers could hold on to it and make their way through without getting lost. You never let go of the guideline. Peter was a notorious risk taker and was the least experienced cave diver of the three. When they entered the lake, they were all holding the guideline, and Peter was the third back. Peter's curiosity got the better of him, and he left the line, and luckily the other two divers noticed it, and they swam over and got him and brought him back to the guideline. They kept going down, and then once again, Peter's curiosity gets the better of him. He leaves the guideline. The other two divers notice again. They turn around, they grab him, and they pull him back, and now they're looking at him like, you can't do this. No more. And they continue down, and they're getting closer to Milner Hall when the first two turn around to check on Peter, and he's gone. They're looking around with their lights, and he's nowhere to be found. They were running out of air, and they had to go to the surface. So the two men surface, they call the police, they explain what happened. Rescue divers are sent to the cave to go looking for Peter, but by the time they even got there, it had been several hours, and Peter only had one tank of air. And so if he hasn't surfaced by now, the thought is he's drowned at this point. But the rescue divers go into the lake, they head down to the area where Peter was last seen, and they look around, and they can't find him, and they surface pretty quickly, and they say, look, we're just not prepared to look through all these different tunnels he could have gone in just to find his body, because at this point there's no way he's alive. He's been down here for hours. Peter's friends are devastated, and they say, hey, can you let us go down? And the police said, no, we're banning diving in this cave. 6 weeks after Peter went missing inside of this lake, a group of dry cavers were doing some work in a chamber that was right next to this underground lake, and they were chiseling this wall when all of a sudden the wall kind of collapsed, revealing another chamber on the other side of this wall. They took their flashlight out and they looked inside, and it looked like a tunnel that kind of weaved around the corner, and it looked like there were some muddy or sandy footprints that were left as if someone had been walking right there. But they stepped over and they walked around the corner, and it revealed this huge air pocket that clearly was connected to the underground lake, because there was water right in the middle of this air pocket, and there was no other way in besides, this wall that's collapsed. And in the middle of the water, there was this island, and laying on the island was Peter. In a stroke of luck, after Peter went missing from his dive, he had discovered this air pocket, and he had surfaced and climbed onto this island. He knew he didn't have enough air in his air tank to get to the surface again, and so he figured, okay, I'll just sit on this island, I'll wait until my dive buddies invariably go get help and come down here and rescue me. He sat inside of that air pocket for 3 weeks. Before he ultimately died of starvation, he wrote a message in the sand to his mother and to his wife, telling them that he loved them. To this day, diving is still prohibited inside of Sterkfontein Cave.